Kit Kat, stop it. Hey, NC Mama. Hello, folks. Thanks for joining me. We're just going to give it a second. Hey, Lou. Hey, Christine. Hey, Jazz. Hey, Lizzie. Thank you all for joining. We're going to just let some people get in the room before we get started. If you're just finding me on your For You page, it would be wonderful if you could give me a follow. I'd appreciate that. And if you want to get more people in the room, please hit the hearts. That's TikTok's way of knowing it should show it to more people. Hey, Macy. Hey, Paul. Hey, Cheryl. Good crew tonight. Hey, Jeffrey. All right. Thanks for the like. Appreciate that. Hey, Jake and Blake. Hey, Amy. Hey, Charlie. Flying Butterfly. Aquafina. Oh, we got all kinds of good people in here tonight. I love it. While we're waiting for people, just a little intro if you're just finding me for the first time. I am a former Obama campaign person. I was on his campaign in 2008. And I was in his administration for 5 years at the Interior Department. I also worked for, hey, Everett. Hello. Min Pin, what's up? And I also was a chief digital officer for the state of New York. I've worked at WeWork. Now I run my own digital marketing agency, and I'm also one of the organizers of White Dudes for Harris. I don't have my hat on tonight because, frankly, I forgot it upstairs, though you could tell I've been wearing it all day. Hello, everybody. Hello. Let's get going. So, tomorrow night, VP debate. Going to be really interesting. Actually, hold on. We got some questions, so let's do this first. Everett asks a good question. I've heard people saying it would be unwise for Kamala to visit Western North Carolina right now, dealing with the aftermaths of those storms and those floods. Do I agree? So the reality is yes. I mean, I think that anytime you put a principal down in a disaster area, it pulls resources away, no matter what happens. It pulls resources away from the relief efforts. And this is why Biden has not gone. This is why Kamala has not gone. And Trump went because he doesn't care. And then he made it political and was attacking the administration, which, they've been doing everything possible to help those people. But, I think that they need to go soon. But I think like in those early days, it's really, really tough because it's just, in order to have a president or a vice president there, the security and the details and logistics are so great. It's really difficult, but it also makes it very easy for opponents to pick them apart and say why they haven't they gone. The reality is that all the reasons I said. Okay, so do you think that Harris Walsh should do more rallies? I mean, I think they're doing a lot. A lot more than Trump is doing. And, raising a ton of money. She raised like $50 million this weekend, which is crazy. And moving into, get out the vote efforts, which is something I did a lot of on the 2008 campaign, and encouraging as many people to vote early, doing all those things. But the rallies certainly help with enthusiasm and get people motivated. So I think they'll keep doing them. But I think they've been doing it at a pretty good clip. Let's see. Oh, Carrie, thank you very much. That's very nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, Everett, exactly. He went to, Valdosta, I think. I'm not super familiar with North Carolina, though I have been to Asheville, which is a wonderful place. So it's heartbreaking. He's just about himself. It reemphasizes he doesn't care about anybody else. So yeah, it's really, really disappointing. Let's see. Trump went for a photo shoot. He absolutely did. Do I think our ground game is better than Campbell? This is a great question. Do you think our ground game is better than the outsourcing to Elon Musk? Oh yeah. See, this is a differentiator from 2020 that nobody really talks about. Democrats did no on the ground organizing in 2020 because of COVID. Republicans ignored all that stuff, probably got some of their people killed in the process, and did do organizing. And Biden still won. He won 5 states when he only needed those 3 flips, and won by like 9 million extra votes or 8 million or whatever it was. Democrats are on the ground, and they're on the ground hard. Mezzo, awesome. Nice to see you. Um, and it's going to be a big, big difference this time that no one's talking about. So, so yeah, I think that's a great question. And the people that they've outsourced this stuff on the Republican side are all grifters, and from all I could tell, it's been a complete disaster. Oh, Mr. Scott Kobner is here. Good to see you, my friend. I always feel extra pressure when people I know are watching me. So, but thank you for being here, Scott. That's awesome. Good to see you. Hope you are doing well. Squids asked, is our economy going to collapse? No. And let me explain why. First of all, we've seen record growth job numbers in this first term of the Biden-Harris administration. It's somewhere in the 17 or 18 million jobs created. It's most jobs created in the history of presidents in their first term. Second is that inflation has now dropped into what they call like the safe zone. We're sitting in like anything under 3% is good. It's right at about 2.5%, and it's dropped month over month. The Fed's just announced that we have achieved what is called a soft landing, which essentially is bringing inflation into control while still creating jobs and the economy growing. It's a tricky balance. We're really the only country in the world that has done that post-COVID. And now the Feds have cut rates by 0.5 point, which means that the cost of borrowing money for businesses and for individuals is going to drop. Where it matters most to individuals is on interest on mortgages and other types of loans. So those rates are going to drop. They've been crazy high in the 7-8% ranges, which is like, 3 years ago, it was in like the 4%. So that's going to start coming down. So we've got inflation under control. Jobs are still growing. And now it's going to be easier for people to buy a home, which means more home sales, which means more construction of homes. It'll easier get loans. People can buy new or used cars. I prefer used cars, by the way. Safer investment. But buying big ticket items, which then puts more taxes into the system, and everybody's doing well. So no, I do not think the economy is going to collapse. Donald Trump and the people on the right don't know what they're talking about, but they have to say that because what are they going to do? We didn't vote for any of these things that the Democrats passed, and then look at all these successes, but vote for us. It's a difficult position that they've put themselves in. Anyways, let's see. Wow, we got a lot of great questions tonight, folks. 3.8 years and we're getting there. Joke. Well, we also are recovering from Donald Trump's first term, which he's the only president in history to lose jobs, 2.9 million of them to be exact. It exploded the deficit. So, yes, it takes a while to dig out from that. But that's generally what Democratic presidents do after Republicans. It's what Bill Clinton did after George H.W. Bush. It's what Barack Obama did after George W. Bush. And it is what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done after Donald Trump. If you look back from 1988 to today, Democratic administrations have created 50 million new jobs. Republicans have created 1. And they have 4 extra years of being president to go with it. We can love each other once Trump loses. So, Christopher, I love that notion. I think we have to be careful, though. Donald Trump is a symptom. He's not a cause. And I've got a medical doctor watching this, and I just bungled that. But what I mean. We're still going to have to grapple with this deep polarization. I hope it helps to break it, and that this is not this will be the beginning of it coming back down. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But I just don't want people's hopes to get up that all of a sudden it's going to be roses after this. Let's see. Download the app. Who's asking about apps? Oh, so Mezzo, I'm not a housing expert. But I would say if interest rates are going down, that's going to pump up demand. So what probably will happen is that the interest rates will drop, but then you'll start to see prices jump up. So, I don't know, but this is way out of my depth. So I don't know. I would just look at your local markets and see how things are performing. I just want to refi because we bought a place last year. I did not buy it at the right time. Helen, I'm excited for tomorrow too. To see Walls. It's going to be such a contrast because JD Vance has basically been admitting that he's lying about these things, but we also have CBS has also said they're not going to fact check. So it's going to be kind of an interesting balance to see how all of this plays out. I don't think Mercedes. I don't think you know what socialism is, but to each their own. I suppose you got to say things without any substance sometimes. I guess. Trump is going to wipe the floor with her. He's going to win big league. Big league? Remember that. All right, William. We'll see. Kamala wiped the floor with him in that debate, so I don't know what you're talking about wiping the floor. We have somebody that is running for Congress on here. This is fantastic. We got Maura Keller for Congress. Let's see, Maura. You are the Democratic nominee for the Georgia 3rd District. So everybody should go follow her right now and kick in some bucks for her because we need to retake the House, and that would be one less we'd have to worry about. So thanks for being on tonight. And folks, I'm going to do I'm not an expert on anything dope. Oh, Glenn. No bio, so can't say anything about him because he doesn't share anything. Oh, well. Trolly lolly lolly. Well, anyways, I was gonna pause here for a second. Who's not gonna they're not gonna fact check. I'm sorry. Everett's saying my live is not working. Is everyone able to see me? Can people just say thumbs up or yes or anything? Because I just want to make sure you could hear me. Okay, great. Well, while I've got you all on here, please, hey, Lily. Okay, you all see me. That's great. Okay, Everett, hopefully that problem has been resolved for you. This is the moment in the lives that I do where I ask folks who have not followed me before, who just found me, to please follow me. I do these fairly regularly. It's getting a little harder because I'm also a White Dudes for Harris organizer, and hey, Patriot. And so we do live things on Tuesdays, and I'm gonna do one on TikTok for White Dudes for Harris. I'm doing a TikTok live on that account on Wednesday at 8 p.m. So if you don't follow the White Dudes account, go follow it, and we'll be doing it. But so I'm trying to be regular here, but it is a little difficult. So thank you for those follows. I appreciate all of you. That is so wonderful. Thank you. So anyways, that is my little pitch for myself. Everett, great. Glad to have you back. Actually, hey, Maura, do you want to, are you in a place that you would want to join and talk about your campaign for a moment? Because I'm happy to do that. It's totally up to you. Okay, let me see if I can do this. I got to remember how to do this. Okay. Maura has been invited. Let's see if she's joining.
Hey there.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
There.
It's so great to meet you live on TikTok.
I'm excited.
Yes. Well, Maura, while we've got the folks here, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your campaign and how people can help you out?
Well, so I'm running in an open seat in Georgia, and I'm running against Trump's political director. In myself, I am a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel with 26 years. And then I worked at the Atlanta VA in nuclear medicine for the last 3.5 years. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to run for Congress, was because I couldn't affect change at the VA. And we definitely need VA reform. So That was the catalyst.
That's amazing. And first, thank you for your service. We greatly appreciate that. So how is that race? If you don't mind me, I know you probably don't like to talk about your opponent. What is this person's name so people know who you're up against?
Sure. His name is Brian Jack.
Okay.
So I live in Fayetteville, Georgia, and I've been here for 20, almost 29 years. And so he was born here, but after high school, he left to college. Then he was Trump's political director, and he's been working with him when he wasn't in office. And so he hasn't been here. So he really, truly does not know the district.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I mean, it's so you see this in so many instances, and it sometimes seems to be the Republicans who more do this with like not being from those districts, and it's so important to have representation of people who have lived there. So I appreciate you stepping up and running. And I have to say, so how does one help your campaign? I mean, obviously you need funds and support.
Yes.
I'm hopefully people are following your TikTok, but what's the best way for them to
You can go to maurakeller.com, and then you can get to know a little bit more about me and my platforms. And of course you can donate, because it is hard. I'm not a Washington insider. I don't have PAC money. I don't have lobbyists. I don't have super PACs. He's raised multiple millions of dollars. And I'm doing it the grassroots way. Media does not cover us at all. So we have to do the old grassroots, shaking hands, knocking on doors, and through social media. And that is how I get to raise awareness as to who I am and the campaign.
That's incredible. I mean, and I think the good thing now is that you're able to use these resources that don't take a lot to get in front of new people. So I hope everybody here on this live is going to maurakeller.com. I think you said .com.
Correct.
And making a donation, and also and I'm going to speak more on your behalf for a second, but like also when candidates in districts like the Georgia 3rd, Democrats do better, that means that Kamala Harris does better too. And Georgia if we win Georgia, like we can pretty much say that we're going to be having a good night on November 5th. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, and so, Mara, how has the energy been as you've been talking to voters in your district?
It has been amazing. People are coming in, I hate to say, when Biden was on the ticket, people would sometimes come by the headquarters for a sign. But I mean, every moment somebody shuts the door, it's opening again. They want the signs. What can I do to help? Let me write postcards. Let me call. Let me help canvass. I mean, the energy is amazing. It has really changed, I think, the dynamics. And I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised when election starts. Now, early voting for us is on October 15th. And the only thing that I would say is, in the past, when I go down to the rural areas, so many of them feel like their voices still didn't count.
Yeah.
Or that their vote doesn't count. So in talking to them, trying to let them know that their collective votes will definitely matter in a major way. So nobody gets to sit home, sit on the sidelines. Everybody's vote's going to be counted. Everybody's voice is going to be heard.
That's great. And I'm, I don't know if you heard me at the top, Mara, but like I'm one of the people who started White Dudes for Harris, which
That's
you may.
awesome.
What's that?
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's been incredible. And I think, our mission, I think, is very similar to what you're trying to do in like reach voters who maybe voted for Donald Trump in either 16 or 20, but Jan 6 and things like this were really the like final straw for them. What are those rural voters that you're talking to? What are they saying, and like what are they looking for in their next representative?
Well, the ones in the rural areas that I have, depending upon where you go, they have different issues. So some we had where, because of NAFTA, they had lost a lot of those type of mill jobs.
Yeah.
And so it really shut down. So there's really not a lot of life coming into those communities. So they don't want to travel an hour plus for a better paying job. And so what I'm taking a look at is when I went touring on some of these areas, I was finding where those factories used to be, and having been endorsed by the AFL-CIO, that is really the only way you're going to get better paying jobs, because Georgia has a rate of $5.15. That's not going to change. And
That's the minimum wage
that's the
in
minimum
Georgia?
wage, right? But the federal wage is $7.25. So of course it trumps it. But still, there's no desire on anybody's level to go ahead and even change the $7.25. So the good paying jobs are going to really be union. So I'm trying to look at ways we can do that, how we can infuse extra money for the entrepreneurs because they really would like to start their own business, but people have to have income in order to be able to support those businesses.
Right.
Now the other thing is, you've heard about Georgia and the heartbeat bill.
Yeah.
So after the 6-week abortion ban, which today got overturned by, okay, so now we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. Is it, while it goes through the court systems, whatever. But out of my 15 counties that I have to travel to, it's a lot of windshield time. There's 6 counties that do not have OBGYN care. So women have to travel outside the county to go find it. They have a longer wait period. And so it really puts an undue burden on those that we do have, plus the women that are pregnant. So I'm trying to make sure that we can get the OBGYNs here. And we've had so many hospitals close in the rural areas. So we want to make sure that if they ever had a medical emergency, they're going to be okay. So I know what they're telling me. I've got binders with all the issues. So I know what's per county and what's my overall district. So I know how to advocate and elevate their voice in Washington.
That's amazing. And I this is an issue that does not get talked a lot about there's a myriad of factors that go into this, but I know also some of these extreme abortion bills are driving physicians out of particular places because they don't want to be prosecuted or harassed or not be able to provide care. So these bills are having a real impact on laws, I should say, on rural America as well. And so it's just, these are things I'm glad that you're out there fighting back against that. And hopefully that Georgia bill, though the path it has to take isn't our particular great one in our favor. But, I think it's good that it's raising awareness that that these things are just draconian and dangerous to everybody.
Absolutely. And, we had 2 women that had died.
Right.
And, the thing was, they were mentioned that they were preventable deaths. But the thing was, when we overturned Roe v. Wade, we knew that it was predictable, that it was just a matter of time before we started seeing women, what we just saw, those 2 women pass away.
Yeah.
So we don't want to see that happen anymore. Not in America, and definitely not in Georgia.
Exactly. I saw that. It was a week or 2 ago. It's just heartbreaking. And I think the sad reality is that's just the beginning, right? We're going to see more of those. And I think that one of the things that gives me hope is that people are learning, especially for these, a lot of these abortions, they're not elective. These are painful decisions that women in particular, but families are going through. DNCs are abortion, and all of these things that this woman, one of the women, I know she was on the Oprah town hall with Vice President Harris, was she wasn't trying to get she wasn't aborting the baby because she didn't want it. It's literally was a life or death situation.
That is correct.
And provide the care. So I'm glad that folks like you are raising awareness about that, because it's hugely important. And I think there's been a shift in this country since Roe v. Wade was overturned on the understanding of what all of that actually means. So I'm glad to hear that it's resonating in rural areas as well. So, Maura, I don't want to keep you super long, because I didn't actually expect an actual candidate for Congress to stumble upon. But maybe we'll just one more time tell people where they can go donate. I'm going to make a donation to you after I get off this call tonight. And I want everybody else to do that as well, because we have to play everywhere.
I appreciate you. Again, it's maurakeller.com. And I was watching you because you give me info, you give me data for me to do additional research, because I'm prepping for my debate.
Oh, great. Okay, great.
So, well, thank you.
I appreciate that. So everybody, one question, sorry, Maura, that this woman has asked a few times on the chat. What county what's the main county? And I know you said you had 15 counties. But...
I live in Fayette County.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I've got 15. So I go all the ways up where I touch Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh.
And so if you are in Marjorie Taylor Greene, please vote for Sean Harris. Please. And then I go all the ways down to Sanford Bishop. And I go all the ways over to, the Alabama border.
Okay, great. And then, sorry, I misgendered Mezzo because I can't actually see the profile pictures, so I apologize for that. But everybody, I already see people have donated, which is
Wow.
great. So
Thank you so much.
I'm going to do it after, but more, I'm going to follow your campaign, and if I could be helpful in any way, you know how to find me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But best of luck, and I'll be cheering you on.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thanks, you too. Well, folks, that was pretty awesome. I don't know if, let's see. Okay. That's awesome. I love it. So I did see, and I see people defending for me. Someone said that I am being paid to do this. And I get this a fair amount from right-wing folks. And all you got to do is look my name up in the FEC reports and see if I show up anywhere. And you won't find me. And the reason that you won't find me is because I'm not paid. So, and they have to report all of that. And yes, someone running for Congress literally just joined in. And yes, I am ex-Obama admin. I was obviously paid for that. But I have not gotten paid by a political organization. Let me make sure I get this right. I got paid on the Obama campaign. I worked in the Obama administration, but that's not a political pay. I worked in the state government in New York. That's not political pay. White Dudes for Harris is completely voluntary, and all the money we raise goes directly to the Harris campaign. We don't even touch it. But yes, I am a former Obama admin. So I am politically aligned with the things that I am talking about, which is why I do it. Well, that was absolutely cool. I'm so pumped to do that, and I do hope everybody gives her money, because it is important. Like, there is this thing called reverse coattails, where local candidates that do well tend to help the candidate above them from the same party. So giving her money to continue to outreach and doing all that work, put up advertising, is going to help Kamala Harris. So that is pretty awesome. Well, folks, thank you. I got a couple more requests for you, if you don't mind. If you're just finding me, please follow me. That would be amazing. I'm going to make another pitch too, and I'm going to mention a little project that I'm working on to explain why I'm going to ask you to do this, and I want to hear from you what you think about it. But I want you to, if you don't mind, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is just /Tim Fullerton. I've been building up my presence there a little bit as a protection against if this place was to get taken down in that TikTok ban. But in reality, I'm actually thinking about launching a podcast. I run my own company. I should make that very clear. It's called Fullerton Strategies. It's a digital marketing agency. And I am thinking about doing a podcast, and I would obviously post it on YouTube and all of the places. So I'm obviously trying to build an audience, and I also want people to know about it. And so that's why I'm asking you to go subscribe to my my YouTube channel, because that will be one of the places. Obviously, I haven't set it up yet, so I don't have like a, go subscribe on iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff. And I'm still sort of like workshopping what it's going to be, the focus particular. But what I'm really thinking about is it's going to be a series that'll probably be twice a month on how politics can do good and policy can do good for people. Politics tends to be very much the horse race, right? Win, lose, and like these binary choices. But I want to like dive into some of these issues a little bit more and explain, how politics can help people, because so many people are disillusioned. Understandably so. I mean, 40 million Democrats didn't vote. Minpin, have a great night. Thank you for donating tomorrow. That's awesome. 40 million Democrats didn't vote in 2020. So we have a long way to go in this country. And so I'm sort of thinking about that, but that's why I was going to ask you, and Jessica asked me, thank you. I'm so glad that you are giving me a thumbs up on this. But that's just sort of a thought. I'll I'll mention it again in other ones. Actually, Zacchaeus, I want to tell you this. You just joined. Hello. I was just saying I'm thinking about starting a podcast, so I'm asking everybody to subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that's one of the places it will live. Also, if I get to a certain threshold, I can monetize the podcast on there pretty easily. So that's why I'm asking everyone to go to my YouTube, which is just youtube.com/Tim Fullerton. So that is what I am planning to do. All right. Do you think... Oh, great question from Cheryl Beck-Ruff. Do you think early voting is safe? I'm always afraid my vote will disappear. I can tell you, when I worked on the Obama campaign in 2008, we pushed early vote so hard because we knew we needed to bank our votes early. Now, you have to, when you vote early, you have to make sure that you're depositing it either in a box that is clearly the box that you're supposed to drop it in, or at an early vote center, you're voting just like you would vote on election day. If anybody asks you, or anyone says, I'll take your ballot, do not let them. Make sure you either leave there and you call the authorities and tell people that someone's doing that. No one should ever grab your ballot. You should put it in a machine. You should put it in a box that you should be able to look up on your county's website where they are, but never hand your ballot to somebody unless it's like someone's like putting in the machine for you. But I've heard reports of people being outside saying, oh, the lines are long, we'll like take these and deliver them. Do not give your ballots to anybody like that. But early voting is great because it also reduces the lines on election day. That's when the low, they call them low propensity voters, people who are not like, I'm definitely voting. You want to make sure that those people aren't standing in lines because they walk. So that's why early voting is important. Stan, I do not have a Kamala tattoo. Why would I have one of those? Because I support her. Do you have a Trump tattoo? I mean, I mean, Trumpers do that stuff, so maybe that's a bad question. Sunshine's right. You can track them online. I don't know if that works in every state, but I definitely recommend. I am voting early. I mean, I live in New York, so like we all know who's going to win here. But like, I vote early because I don't want to be standing in the line. Because I remember in 2016, I didn't vote early. Bad election. I was literally standing in line in New York. Louis C.K. was standing like 3 people behind me, which is a weird thing. And this was before all this creepy stuff came out. But it was there were massive lines. So like, I should have voted early, so there'd be one less person. So I'm a big fan of early voting. The campaigns push early voting super hard as well. Mail-in ballots, totally fine too. Yeah, so it's safe. Just don't let anybody, especially outside, don't let anybody touch your ballot. No one should do that. So yeah. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? I wasn't expecting that super awesome jump in from a member of Congress. That was really, really, really cool. And was 100%. I had nothing to do with that. Whoever there, I know someone. I get it. Like it does seem weird that somebody running for Congress would just magically show up in the live. But I promise you that was not planned. Not planned at all. But was super cool. So anyways, folks, yeah, if you could subscribe to my YouTube /Tim Fullerton or follow me here, that would be great too. And also go follow the White Dudes for Harris TikTok account also, because we're going to be doing a live chat on Wednesday with a bunch of white dude influencers from this platform, many of which you probably have seen. No famous people, because we wanted to be more authentic with actual voters. Oh, thank you for the badge. That's badge and the hearts. This is awesome. I appreciate them. I'm still learning what all of those mean, but I love it. Let's see. Anyone else? Also, I hope everybody here is registered to vote. And also, if you don't, like, now is the time to get people to register. I wrote a bunch of handwritten letters I should have told more of this, unregistered voters in Georgia, encouraging them to register, handwritten. My hand was I haven't written a letter in a long time. But anyways, vote.org or vote.gov. I will vote's another one. So do all that. Love it. What are you most looking forward to in the debate tomorrow? I'm really interested to see how Tim Walz pushes back on JD Vance's nonsense. I mean, JD Vance is going to come in and lie, right? Like that disgusting stuff they said about Springfield, Ohio, the cats and the dogs and all that bullshit, which was just meant to scare basically old white Trump voters into voting and thinking that like all these migrants are going to come into their towns and ruin their way of life. Since there's no fact checking from CBS, which is ridiculous and is exactly what media should be doing, I'll be curious to see how that goes. JD is not a personable dude. He's very dry and very awkward. And Tim Walz is like this affable, like dad. I mean, I don't know if you guys follow the Instagram account We Rate Dogs, but they did a 17-minute video with Tim Walz and his dog Scout today, which is a super cool video. I highly recommend on YouTube. You just Tim Walz, We Rate Dogs. Also brilliant by the campaign. I mean, they just got in front of millions of people who may not be paying anything to politics, and now they got insight into the VP candidate, who is a hell of a nice guy and is a dog lover, and like just a brilliant way to get in front of a new audience. Lily, I unfortunately have watched too many VP debates to count. You've probably generally made the right decision. Though I did take great joy in the Biden-Sarah Palin debate in 2008 when he absolutely destroyed her. Like, it was just, and it was an interesting balance because he couldn't like completely go after her like a lot. He couldn't seem like a bully, and it was masterful. And people forget that Joe Biden was an amazing debater, and he destroyed Sarah Palin in that one. But I also watched Dick Cheney destroy John Edwards, which was incredibly disappointing. And this was before we all knew John Edwards was a scumbag. And he just could not rise to the moment. So, but do I think that it will matter electorally? Probably not. I think it might matter on fundraising. Tim Walz crushes it. They're going to raise a boatload of money. But it's interesting because JD Vance doesn't actually talk to Donald Trump very much. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But we should definitely all tune in. It will probably be not as crazy as the presidential debate. Oh, Lily, I know it was heartbreaking. And also his wife was not a good person either, unfortunately. It was sad that she died. I don't mean to take away, but when she was alive, she was not a good person. So it was very disappointing. That whole family, like, no. So, there's been some interesting bad VP picks over the years. Gore picking Lieberman ruined him. And I, to this day, believe that if he had picked, Bob Edwards, the senator from Florida, that would have flipped 500 and whatever votes, and Al Gore would have been president to this day. Plus, Lieberman turned out to be this right-wing crank. But yeah, and Edwards is a bad pick. Dick Gephardt would probably have been better. But Obama had a home run with Biden, and Biden hit a home run with Kamala, and now hopefully she's hit a home run with Tim Walz. Let's see. When do you think we will see Jack Smith's briefing? I don't know. Honestly, like, I've been so focused on like the actual campaign stuff that I haven't really been paying attention to that, because I know most of it's going to happen after November 5th. But look, Jack Smith is a pro. That guy does not mess around. So if he's got the goods, he'll show it when it's time, when he's ready, and you can guarantee that it's going to be airtight. So Sadie, I'm excited for early votes. Some places it's already started. Virginia, it's already started. And I think tomorrow, some states maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I recommend to everybody that when they get the opportunity, they vote, because you never know, or vote early, because you never know what's going to happen in your life that could preclude you from voting on November 5th. So just make sure you get that vote banked and get out of the way. Oh, Colorado, Blunt Jane says, nice username, by the way, has already started, so that's great. So there's lots of, there's going to be lots of, this month or next month, October is going to be wild, and November is going to be wild. So buckle up, folks. Sadie, I 100% agree. The earlier we vote, the better it is to turn Georgia blue. That's right. We want to make sure that everybody that votes on the 5th has an easy time doing it. So getting your vote banked early so that then you can do some volunteer work and get some other people out to vote, drive people to polls, encourage people, all that stuff. And I don't know if you were on, Sadie, I wrote some letters to unregistered voters in Georgia that I just mailed last week. So hopefully I'll convince a few folks to register and then vote for Kamala after that. Yes, Florida blue. My mom lives down there now. So you got an extra Dem vote. We replaced it from Maine and we've moved it to Florida. Actually, in her district, she's got, president, obviously, Senate, which you obviously have to, and also a potential flip in the House. So, it'll be hopefully her vote will make some difference. We could use some good news in Florida. We haven't had too much in the last few years. So, but I'm hearing good things, and I know the Haitian community is pissed, which there are about 400,000 of them in Florida. So they're going to be voting because all the nonsense said about them. By nonsense, I mean racist lies. So anyways, well, folks, I tell you what, it's going to be a late night for me tomorrow night because I'm doing a post-election live stream thing on some new platform tomorrow. Sadie, thank you. That means so much. I appreciate it. And I support the Haitians as well, 100%. And I'm in this with you. And I think most Americans are too. It's unfortunate that there's a very large vocal minority. We have to remember that it is definitely a minority, but it is a big one. So we got some work to do. But anyways, folks, I'm going to let you go. If you haven't followed me, please do. Thank you very much for sticking with me tonight. And make sure you go make a donation to Maura, Georgia 3. And Miles, we got one final question before we go. How's the VP debate going to be? I think Tim Walz is going to crush it, and I think J.D. Vance has a hard time acting like a normal human being, so I think it will be very difficult for him. So I think the ball's in Tim Walz's court to smash home a win, and we'll see what happens. But anyways, thank you all. Have a biased. Well, yes, I'm a Democrat, so yeah, I'm a little biased. Anyways, have a wonderful night, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys.